What up, everybody? It's Dick, and the channels dictate the day. Dick's got some clips for you. Whoa. But you know how I like to do it. I'm gonna step into the mode, find the frequency, get the vibration right, play a little music. Give me just a few seconds.
Wish I could give you up, but you're my new favorite drug. Enter into my blood, run with my toxic love. Look how you make me happy.
All right, let's go. That's enough. Another thing too, everybody. I'm gonna try to make these a little shorter, a little sweeter, a little more easier to digest, if you will. Okay, with that being said, let's hop into this first clip. Remember, this is entertainment purposes only. I'm only kidding. I'm kidding. Honestly though, you know I always preach about taking your day. I know you are. You know what I mean? And maybe along the way I can provide you some entertainment, a little knowledge, and all of my love. Okay, with that being said, let's roll. Here we go. Watch this. Keegan Dunlap, love this guy.
Apparently, the Associated Press has put out a recent article citing intelligence assessments of two unnamed NATO countries that allege that Russia is actively developing a new type
This has been happening all day. It's good times.
of anti-satellite weapon, specifically with the intent of countering Elon Musk's Starlink constellations. The proposed weapon system has been described as a zone effect or area of effect weapon system, which would release hundreds of thousands of small, high-density metal pellets that are millimeters in diameter like shrapnel or BBs out into low Earth orbit in order to create these massive destructive clouds in the orbital paths used by Starlink satellites, potentially disabling or destroying multiple satellites through high-speed collisions rather than precise targeting. Now, according to this intelligence data, apparently Russia's motivation for this is because they view Starlink as a major threat due to the fact that its thousands of low Earth orbit satellites have provided critical communications for Ukraine's military and civilians since the 2022 invasion. Now, Russian officials have previously referred to these commercial satellites that support Ukraine as, quote, legitimate targets, meaning that they would target them because they're supporting Ukraine. Now, when I heard this, it made me think of that one scene from Andor when Luthen Rael escapes the Cantwell class arrestor cruiser when he shoots out a bunch of like metal projectiles into the tractor beam satellite, and then he escapes jumping to light speed. I don't know why that's the first thing I thought of when I saw this, but here we are. Apparently the associate
Keep in mind what he said about this technology that has apparently been developed. And a second note, I'm a big Star Wars fan, but there's so many of them now, I don't even think I've seen the one he just showed. It's too many. Okay, like I said, keep this in mind and then watch this clip.
Something just happened in outer space that I think you guys need to hear about. I'll get to the reason why it's extremely dangerous in just a second. But Starlink, the satellite company owned by Elon Musk, just announced that on December 17th, they lost contact with a huge satellite called 35956. They discovered an anomaly causing it to rapidly decay and break apart. The satellite blew up. Starlink went on to say that it's still largely intact, but will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere in a few weeks and burn up before it can ever hit the ground. There also does not seem to be a risk of it hitting the International Space Station, which is obviously a good thing. First of all, this is rare. NASA suggests only about 18 satellites have blown up since 1995. But here's where it can get really dangerous. There's a thing called the Kessler syndrome. It essentially suggests that you have so many satellites in space all at once traveling at these extreme speeds that if one of them blows up, it blows up into pieces, you know, this big. All it takes is these tiny pieces to break up other satellites, cause them to explode at high rates of speed. And then you have this chain reaction where all of the satellites end up getting blown apart all at once. It's a legitimate worry for NASA. And of course would have a huge impact on us here on the Earth because of how much we rely on these satellites for communication every day. Now, there's nothing to suggest that the loss of Starlink 35956 will cause this chain reaction, but it's a concern. As I was researching this story, I found this amazing website. It's called satellitemap.space. You can track all satellites in real time.
How many?
I could waste a ton of time on this site. There are about 13,000 satellites orbiting the Earth right now. It's just incredible. I tracked down Starlink 35956 and found it right there, floating around in space at the moment in pieces. As of this recording, it was just south of Australia. In the meantime, Starlink says it's researching this satellite explosion and is trying to determine an exact cause. Something just happened in outer space that I think you guys need to hear about.
Yeah, okay, so there is, that's a horrible domino effect. Look, those satellites up there, whether they're in space or low Earth orbit, you know, because there's that whole discussion. GPS, flight patterns for all our planes. You know, we utilize these for so many things. Military efforts, communication, entertainment, all of it. But, you know, Elon was saying, according to this gentleman here, this is Jake Explains It on TikTok. It said that these satellites will burn up before they hit Earth. I have seen images, entertainment, of satellite and satellite debris that was, you know, on Earth and smoking and burning. And I've showed clips of them in the past. 13,000 though. And then you have that crazy domino effect, the Kessler event. I'm just saying. Yeah. All right, let's roll.
The MIT professor who was shot in his home was working on these two groundbreaking technologies that could have reshaped the future of humanity. MIT professor Nuno Loureiro was found critically injured in his residence before passing away at a local hospital. Police have not yet announced a motive or identified a perpetrator, but details have emerged regarding the two critical scientific innovations that Loureiro was researching at MIT. First, Loureiro's primary focus was the research and development of a new type of energy known as nuclear fusion, which produces a highly efficient, low-cost, and environmentally friendly source of power that could have replaced traditional fuels such as coal and oil. However, nuclear fusion is extremely unstable, and Loureiro was reportedly leading the work aimed at stabilizing the fusion process. Second, Loureiro was also helping to develop a next-generation form of computing that could eventually replace today's phones and laptops, called quantum computing. He was specifically designing algorithms for quantum computers to simulate plasma. The MIT professor who was shot in...
Okay, this was about 5 days ago. This is from Ding News on TikTok. And then there's been some discoveries in this case. And it's in the next clip. And watch this.
Now, is it just me, or does anybody else find this suspicious where a homeless man catches the MIT/Brown University shooter? Because I do. Yes, you heard that right. So not only this homeless man finds the killer in a bathroom because he said he looks suspicious, not wearing the right clothes for the weather, but he posts this on Reddit. Now, what homeless guy is playing a super sleuth where he jeopardizes his own livelihood getting caught, possibly getting kicked out by chasing this guy? Which could be plausible, being that he's homeless and there's a $50,000 reward that they're offering to catch the killer, but it just seems coincidental. Now, after the cat and mouse game that they said that they played allegedly, it led to the arrest of this guy, the alleged shooter, Claudio Manuel Valente. So not only he went to Brown University, shot at the school, unalived 2 students, but went 50 minutes down the road to unalive the MIT professor. And they said, and I quote, he screamed Allah Akbar before he opened fire. But how is that when he's a Portugal national? And there's a connection here because Nuno Loureiro, who was the MIT professor who was unalived by this guy, they went to school together in Portugal. And not to mention, he had a major breakthrough in the nuclear fusion world, something called magnetic reconnection, which harnesses the power of the sun, cutting down years of research, bringing us closer to free energy. Now, from that tip from the homeless guy, they said they tracked him down. They found him in a storage unit, unalived. They said it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound, so there's that. Now, right after this happens, Trump Media does a merger deal with TAE Technologies for a nuclear fusion deal worth $6 billion. Very interesting. And lastly, in a tinfoil hat turn, remember that character Biff, who's based on Trump? Yeah, he had a company called Biffco where he had nuclear power plants. And all on the same day where they announced this deal, legendary NASCAR driver Greg Biffle dies in a plane crash. And his nickname? The Biff. We live in a simulation.
For real.
Make sure you guys hit up my YouTube, The Maverick Approach, but let me know what you guys think about all this down below. Now, is it just me, or does anybody else find this suspicious where a home...
Love the Maverick Approach. It's so good. Yeah, what? That is some crazy connection entertainment. MK Ultra / simulation / what? What are we doing? Will we ever know? Man, I don't know. All right. Let's keep it going. Let's soldier, lads.
So you're telling me Paris, Bondi Beach, Tokyo, and Serbia, amongst other places, have canceled their New Year's Eve, New Year's celebrations that were planned due to safety concerns. Yet here we are in the United States of America with not one, but 2 attacks that were avoided thanks to the FBI. They had one planned for Southern California during New Year's, the celebration, and a man was attempting to do one in New Orleans during the New Year's celebration. And here we are on the verge of bringing nearly 1 million people into Times Square, even though all this other madness is happening. The other countries, the other areas, they understand the severity of what's going on. Obviously, they care about their citizens, right? Because they canceled their plans. It's gonna be televised. What are we waiting for here? So you're telling me...
Okay. All the stuff that's been unfolding as of late, like the crazy Australia stuff, there was a thing foiled in LA that was supposed to be planned for New Year's Day. I'm not a big fan of large crowds and parties and, all of that. These days, I just can't relax. I can't, chill. But if anybody is planning on celebrating in these large functions, just be careful, okay? Head on a swivel kind of stuff. Because whether it's some singular group of bad people, whether it's some nefarious plan from the higher up, whatever you want to call it, entertainment, man, be careful. There is one of my favorite sayings is there's some fuckery afoot, okay? And just, man. Okay, let's keep it rolling.
Last night, San Francisco went dark. Over 130,000 people lost power in San Francisco. This is the map of San Francisco. And those red areas right there is where everybody lost power. So as you can see, this wasn't a small outage. This was a very big outage. Look at this shit.
Everywhere, even on Market Street.
Shit is crazy.
Oh, this looks sick. Oh, this looks sick.
When the power stops, everything stops. You had people stuck in elevators. Traffic signal wasn't working. As you can see the traffic right there. Now you ask yourself, how could some shit like this happen? You have robot taxis just stopping in the middle of the street. And when I mean stopping, I mean no movement at all. Now they're saying that this massive outage started from a fire. And after that fire, do you see how fast that escalated? But think about this. If that can happen in San Francisco, California, where else can it happen at? Because if you do your research, San Francisco is one of the most advanced cities in the world. I need you to let that sink in. This much of San Francisco was dark last night. If it can happen there, it can happen anywhere. Last night, San Francisco went dark. Over 130,000 people lost power.
Okay, here's the problem. Yes, San Francisco, technical. There's many very, smart cities, smarter cities, whatever. All that technology, all this technology that we keep, piling upon us, it all takes electricity. And if we don't have electricity, we don't have the technology. I'm always talking about being prepared. Don't be scared. Always buying some non-perishable foods, water, health supplies as far as like emergency bandages and just any of that stuff is great to have. But I think if you really want to be successful in those situations, you can't build it around the idea of having electricity or some form of technology. Okay, even if you have generators, whether they're solar powered or fuel or what, just a little sharing my knowledge. I love you guys. Be careful. Okay? All right, let's go.
So in the 4th century, they decided, well, we need a consistent Bible of texts. The Gospel of Mary was left out. Goes against the church. And when the church is the one picking what's left in the Bible, I think that's a bit of a conflict of interest. These are some of the teachings. Jesus says that authority comes from inner knowing, not external rules. Direct quote, "There is no sin. It is you who make sin when you act according to the nature of adultery." It means the sin isn't a cosmic crime. It's a state of forgetting who you really are. The adultery is almost to cheat on yourself.
Yeah, what a different context that is.
Isn't it? And this is what she was in reference to. Jesus also said, "The Son of Man is within you. Follow the good and you will find rest, peace."
Yeah. Which is like forgive thyself, essentially.
Yeah. So why the church didn't love this is if salvation comes from inside you, then you don't need a priest. You don't need a church hierarchy. You don't need confession, sacraments, obedience to the institutional authority. So no wonder they left this out of the Bible. It decentralizes power. It undercuts the entire structure they were building. So Mary's vision teaches a path of enlightenment, not obedience. Jesus says, "Do not lay down any rules beyond what I appointed you, nor give a law like the lawgiver, lest you be constrained by it." Which basically means don't build a bunch of religious laws after I'm gone. The real reasons it wasn't included, basically, in short, is that it gave Mary enormous authority, which is bad for the patriarchy. The Gospel of Mary shows that Jesus was teaching inner enlightenment, calling out fear-based religion, and elevating Mary as the most spiritually awakened disciple, which is precisely why the 4th century church didn't include it. So in the 4th century, they did.
Message. Look into it. I heard a quote from someone the other day, and I know I might get flack for this. I don't know. Put it in the comments. I don't get a lot of those, but thank you for the ones I do. The quote from I saw was like, Jesus wasn't a Christian. Muhammad wasn't a Muslim. Buddha wasn't a Buddhist. Okay? And if you research the Bible and what Jesus was doing while he was here, the Bible has been manipulated, but there are some scriptures where he talks about going into the temples and crashing out and destroying the place, overturning the tables, dumping all their goods and money on the floor, because they were using the guise of, a spiritual place to make money. And he's like, this ain't it. Just saying, I don't know. Entertainment. Do your research. Okay, let's go.
So
they were taking human brain cells.
This box is filled with actual human brain cells. Oh, and it's also a supercomputer. Australian company Cortical Labs has created the world's first commercial biological computer that uses 800,000 living human neurons, grown from blood samples to form networks that think and learn like a real brain. but using 99% less energy than traditional AI systems. Under a microscope, you can literally watch as these neurons form branches from electrode to electrode, creating ever-evolving pathways for information. In 2022, they proved these living cells could learn independently when they taught the neural network to play Pong by using predictable electrical patterns as rewards and chaotic signals as punishments, something no silicon chip could achieve without explicit programming. What's truly mind-blowing is the built-in life support system with pumps, gas circulation, and temperature controls that keeps these neurons alive for up to 6 months, essentially a miniature artificial body maintaining a partial brain. Researchers believe this technology could revolutionize drug discovery for neurological conditions like Alzheimer's and epilepsy. But this raises profound ethical questions about the boundary between machines and life itself. If we're growing computers with human brain tissue that can learn and adapt, at what point might we cross the line into creating something with consciousness?
They were taking human brain cells.
This box is filled with...
Swear to God, we are living in a movie. And part of it's Terminator. And okay, so AI has an issue. Okay, many depending on who you are, but it has a power issue, which turns into a water issue because they have to cool these huge power plants that run the learning models and whatnot. So a great way to sell us on this is like, hey, this uses 99% less of the energy. So we're going this artificial brain route. And then of course, it, for the medical field, it has, hopes for helping our brains. Another way to sell it to us. And then you have AI robots now with their own brain growing inside them. I don't know if that's possible, but man, some of these clips they leave me speechless because I just start spinning on all the different, I'm a huge overthinker and I go to worst case scenario. I'm trying to get better and keep it positive, but it's difficult. Okay. I'm just having some trouble. I'm gonna get it. Let's go.
Y'all seen this one right here yet? What you know about pterodactyls, man? Look, I know y'all are gonna say, "Oh, this is AI." Yada 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 yada. Just hold on. This next picture has been around long before AI. Now, I want y'all.
I gotta pause it. For one, I always get copyrighted for that song. I got 5 on it. Just kidding. That picture of the pterodactyl there, I have seen this many places. I've even seen copies of it in like hardware stores up in the small towns of the mountain of Colorado, like crazy hunting pictures and stuff. I have seen this and a couple other as well. They appear to be legit. I don't know. Put it in the comments if you have some other information I don't have. Okay, go.
Look long and hard and close at this. Even the little dog's like tripping. Look, little homeboy right there. I'm just saying, man, there's a lot more than we'll ever realize, but it's all alleged anyway. I mean, this looks like something out of an old movie right here, to be honest with you, but allegedly, these are real pictures as well, and they're not fake. I don't know where they came from, but allegedly, they're real. Allegedly, again, all these pictures right here are real. They even look grainy and old. Now, this one right here is very interesting. I mean, look, they obviously, yeah, you know what happened. A 2,000-year-old green serpentine mask was discovered at the base of a pyramid in Mexico. We all know where that green mass is going to lead to. Yep, guaranteed. These Mayan artifacts always trip me out. Look up top. Doesn't that look like a UFO to y'all? And look at the little alien head, dude. This right here is the one. Look at that UFO coming down. Little alien with the wings on it. The sky people, the star people. This kind of stuff makes you wonder, man. Y'all seen this one right here?
What'd you think? Yeah. Crazy. Entertainment, thought process, drop some knowledge on me. Let's go.
It's not a fucking person, bro. Look.
Watch this. You can see it right there.
No, it's not, bro. That's
right
not
there.
A person. That's way bigger than a fucking hiker, bro. Bro, that's not. Oh, fuck. It just disappeared.
Yes, it did.
What the fuck?
I don't know if this is AI or not.
Look.
I've never seen it so far off, but watch it. This tall, humanoid looking, big-headed, skinny arm, boom, disappears.
Oh, fuck. It just disappeared. What the fuck? It's not a fucking person, bro. Look. What the fuck is that? That's a hiker. No, it's not, bro. That's not a person. That's way.
I don't know. Crazy. I've never seen this one. Okay.
Oh fuck!
Let's
It
keep
just
it going.
disappeared.
I don't mean to be that guy, but
this is the last clip, and this is a soldier that's active duty. I'm not sure what branch. This is just his TikTok, and he's talking about the 1776 Warrior Dividend. President Trump issued this thing during a talk of the White House, a press release or something. I've seen clips of it, and he's saying every active duty soldier is going to get $1,776 because we are headed to the anniversary of the birth date of the United States of 1776. And then this guy said something that my whole brain went, mean. And I'll let it play. It's 9 seconds.
what if that money is like surf and turf at the Chow Hall? I don't mean to be that
Do y'all know what surf and turf at the Chow Hall means? They serve surf and turf to soldiers usually right before some crazy military action happens. Okay? Like last meal kind of stuff. So they serve, crab and steak, which they don't do a lot of because it's expensive and stuff, but they give it to the soldiers before they send them on some missions where, All right. I just thought that was interesting. I don't know if it means anything at all or it has any connection. We got New Year's and all this stuff going on, and I just thought I'd put that up there. All right. Hey, we did it, and I kept it short. Let's go. We're at 26 minutes. I'm really trying to make them shorter than this, but there's so much information out there I'm trying to bring you guys. Thank you so much for coming to the end, all the way to the end of my video. If you made it, you already know. Daytaker OG. All right, Dick's got a dip. I will see y'all on the flip. Let's get us out of here with a little music. I'm going to end this like I end every single one of them. One of the best ways to take your day. Spread your love. Share your knowledge. And the rest will take care of itself. I promise. I promise to you. I promise to you. All right, let me play us out here. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you so very much, everyone. I love you. Christmas is coming up. So I'm going to try to put out a video maybe tomorrow. Okay, maybe the next day, and then I might take a couple days off. All right? Take your day, everybody.
Feel like taking over.